Welcome everyone to the virtual college fair for all Minnesota students, sponsored by the Minnesota Association for College Admission Counseling and StriveScan. Thank you so much for joining us. A few housekeeping announcements before we get started. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. This is just one of many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at mn-acac.org. And also this presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at that same website, mn-acac.org. I also do realize the one on the website on the screen here is different than that. Both of them end up at the same place. So with that, I would like to turn it over to our presenters. Thank you so much.
All right, I'll go ahead and I will share my screen. All right, hopefully everybody can see me there. My name is Taylor McKittrick and I work at Southwest Minnesota State University. So I am one of 3 of our presenters here. Emily, do you want to introduce yourself and then we can kind of go right along down here?
Yeah, my name is Emily Stumpf. I work at Luther College in DeFore, Iowa.
Perfect, and Colleen?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Colleen Kopis, and I work at Iowa State University, and I'm regionally based in the Twin Cities. Welcome, students.
Perfect. And Catherine?
Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm an admissions counselor at St. Cloud State University in Central Minnesota.
Perfect. So we just want to welcome everybody to our session. It's not too late. So if you are a senior and you've been feeling, that you've fallen behind or that there's not enough time, we are here to tell you that there certainly is time. We have panelists here from small schools, large schools, and then medium schools as well. And we're all here to tell you that you're doing okay and that your admission counselors are here to help you guide you through that process. We are going to talk about our individual schools as well as some general tips and tricks when trying to decide where to go. So with that, we'll go ahead and start with Catherine, and I will move to the next slide here. All right, go ahead, Catherine.
All right, so some things to keep in mind when you're choosing a school. So when you're trying to find out a school that fits best for you, we look at the majors. So do they have the program that you're interested in? Do they have a wide range of programs that you might be going into? So say you're undecided, but you're looking at a school that has a wide variety, make sure to look at that. Location. Is it somewhere you want to be close to home or do you want to be far away from home? Do they have things around them? These are just some things to keep in mind in what you want to do. And then size, like Taylor said, if they have their small schools, medium-sized schools, and large schools. So what kind of size are you looking for, as well as the class sizes? So are you looking for something smaller or something larger? And then also cost. Cost is another big thing. So as well as scholarship opportunities, tuition, because in the end, you're going to be the one to pay for it. So how are you going to pay for it? And do you feel comfortable paying for what tuition is? And then lastly is engagement. So are there things on campus that you would like to do, different clubs, organizations that you can get involved with? So that's what we think are the biggest 5 things to look for when you're looking for a school that fits you the best.
So before we get started talking about our individual schools, we do just want to kind of give the disclaimer and the caveat that every single school is going to have different requirements, different deadlines. There's going to be different topics that you'll want to ask your admission counselors. So I know right now, if you are a senior and you're trying to kind of figure out where you would like to go, a really great tip is to reach out to those top 3, top 5 schools, right? And see what their deadlines are, what their process is, because your admission counselors are really there to help you navigate that process. It can be very overwhelming and very daunting to try to do all of it yourself, which is why we are all here, right? Vast majority of universities and colleges are going to have an admissions office, and our purpose is really to help you navigate to find what works best for you. So you definitely don't have to be alone in this journey trying to find out what your next step is after high school. So with that, we are going to be talking about a little bit about our individual schools so that you guys can kind of get a feel of what is happening in the admissions office. So we can go ahead and start with Catherine at St. Cloud.
So like I said, St. Cloud State is in central Minnesota and St. Cloud, the city. So at St. Cloud State, we are a public school. We're a four-year institution. You can get your undergrad, bachelor's, as well as your master's and PhD. We're a medium-sized school, so we're about 12,608 students. So usually when you're generals, you might have larger classes, but when you do get into your major, it's to the size of about 18. Depending on what your class is. And then tuition at St. Cloud State with living on campus, books and supplies, and tuition and fees, it's $19,136 for a full year. And undergraduate majors, we have about 200. So a lot to choose from. We are known for psychology, education, business, engineering, and nursing. There we go. So when looking at the different requirements for St. Cloud State, we look at a GPA of about a 3.0. So with that 3.0, you're automatically accepted into the university. If you have something below that, we look at your application as a whole and might ask you some questions. We have different programs in place if your GPA is a little bit lower. We're also test optional. So that means if you took the ACT, great. If you didn't, no big deal, but the ACT would really help you with scholarship opportunities and maybe class placement for different classes like your math or your reading. Application fee for us, we're always free. We have permanently taken that away. So I always tell students, even if you're kind of interested in us, go ahead and apply with us. And to find that application, it's right online. So a lot of our applications are going to be online. You can get some paper documents. It's not as common anymore, but it usually takes about 20 minutes to fill out an application. Deadlines for St. Cloud State, we're rolling admission. So we will take applications all the way up until August 9th. We also have a presidential scholarship. So students who have above a 3.3 GPA or in the 30% of their class, as well as the 23 or higher on their ACT, they could be getting money for us. So say we grant you $1,000, that's $1,000 per year for your 4 years, so $4,000 from us. And then we also have Husky scholarships. So basically it's a pool of about 500 scholarships. You fill out one application and then it kind of filters to what you're eligible for. And then we usually let students know by April if they did get those. So those are kind of like the main things for different scholarship opportunities, as well as applying for St. Cloud State. We need that high school transcript and then the application itself. Next year, with COVID, we are planning in-person classes, housing with roommates, and events. An admission tip that I have, you have a low GPA, ask admissions what you can do. Sometimes there are programs in place for students with GPAs that are lower than 3.0. So just know that there always is a way. If you have any questions about St. Cloud State or any of those other requirements, please let me know.
Awesome. Catherine, so if a student has, with COVID, struggled this year academically, what are some things that you suggest that can happen if, this hasn't been their strongest year academically?
Yep, so definitely if you, like I said, a lower GPA, we do have those programs in place. But we always talk to the student. They can write us a letter or an email just saying that they did struggle this year, especially a lot of people were doing distance learning, and that's really hard for a lot of students. So just letting us know that they did have a hard year, and we would look at more of those other years in place.
Awesome. Thank you, Catherine. All right, and I'll turn it over to Emily, who is at Luther.
Yes, so I'm gonna just chat briefly about Luther, and then I, just like Catherine, will go into a little bit about what we're doing with COVID and next year in applications admission. So we are a 4-year private liberal arts only undergraduate institution. We are located in Decorah, Iowa, which is about 2.5 hours southeast of the Twin Cities metro area. You can see from the pictures, just a little taste of Decorah. It's absolutely gorgeous there. So we are located in the Driftless region. We've got bluffs, a river runs through campus. Students love to go hiking, biking. So if you're an outdoorsy person or you just enjoy lovely sunsets and views, Luther could be a good place for you. So we have 16 majors and minors and professional programs to choose from. Our top 5 or 6 tend to be biology, music, psychology, education, business, and nursing. But we have everything from art to environmental studies to economics and everything else in between. So if you are considering a liberal arts education, we can be a really good fit for you. A little bit about what's happening with our application process. So we have moved to a rolling admissions standpoint. Prior to this, we did have one early action back in November, but if you decide to apply today or tomorrow, it won't affect your decision. So we will be taking applications all the way through the month of June. So maybe in a month or two, you remember, oh, I went to that presentation, I heard about Luther. We'll still have our application open through the summer. So I will be your admissions counselor. I'd be the person that you contact, and I'm going to just jump to my admissions tip here at the bottom, is that please utilize me and all of us here. It's literally our job to talk to you. We get really excited about it. We want to work with you. We want to help you find a good fit. So even if you aren't sure about something, you can always ask about it, whether it's a student organization or a major. A lot of students create their own majors at Luther liberal arts colleges, so that's definitely a possibility as well. Shifting a little bit to our COVID protocol, we are actually all in person right now, and it's actually going, knock on wood, really well. We, in the fall, had a little bit of a split hybrid schedule, had a small COVID outbreak, but we are back in person. We currently have one student case, one employee case, and we're at the lowest level of COVID. So students can actually visit each other in their residence halls. Masks are, of course, required at all times. But it's been going really well. And so our plan this fall is to do the exact same thing and start with a regular semester, and hopefully it will be as normal as possible. A couple of things that attribute to that. One, we are a little bit more rural in that we're a smaller school. We're not in a huge city. Decorah itself is actually like the hub of Northeast Iowa. Lots of great places to hang out there. But in general, it's not super large, so we haven't had a ton of traffic. It's more of a destination for people to come to. So it's been pretty safe, and we continue to be that way. In terms of our application, we require an application itself to take the Common App. We also have our own Luther application and on our website, and we require the application, a high school transcript, and like Catherine and Taylor alluded to, if this last semester or the semester prior has been really challenging, just get in touch and we'll talk through kind of ways that we can evaluate your application and that process. And then we are test optional. So I will only use your test score if it helps you in some way. You're welcome to submit it if you'd like, but I will only use it for evaluation of scholarships and admission if it helps. And then we require one letter of recommendation and a personal essay attached to your application. So we have a free application. It's always been free. Feel free to utilize us. If you've had the Common App, you're welcome to send our way. And yeah, we're gonna move on to the next school.
Awesome. Emily, one of your tip was, when in doubt, ask. What's the most common question that you get asked as an admission counselor at Luther?
Right now, I'm actually getting a lot of questions about test optional. I think there is a lot of like apprehension about, what if I don't send in my test score? Will I be punished? No, you absolutely will not. Like I mentioned, we will only evaluate your test score if it benefits you. So whether you got a 15 or a 35, essentially I will be blind to that score. I'll only use it if you need it. So that's the biggest question I'm getting for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. And then we'll move to Colleen over at Iowa State.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Colleen Kopis, Assistant Director for Regional Recruitment at Iowa State, based in Minnesota. So a little bit about Iowa State University. We are another option for out of state. We are located in Ames, Iowa, roughly about 3 hours from Rochester, Mankato, as well as the Twin Cities. We are a college town, meaning half of our student population is actually the entire population of Ames, and very well known throughout the country as one of the top 10 college towns. Iowa State has a student population of 31,825 Cyclone strong. So we are considered a large public research university. We have over 100 majors to choose from, 900 student clubs and organizations. We compete in the Big 12 Athletic Conference, and in fact had the best record in our football program in school history, and we were ranked number 9 nationally. So we were very proud of our football program this year, and that can be shown in that picture in the upper corner of Jack Trice Football Stadium. I'm excited to announce that looking ahead to the fall at Iowa State, we will be having classes at full capacity in person. There will still be opportunities for online options for students that want to choose that path. In addition, we'll have the opportunities to do world-class research in over 100 research centers with our professors, including everything from designing football helmets that protect students this year from COVID-19 to nano vaccines that help prevent and treat potential new viruses as they come about in the coming years. So really cutting edge research at Iowa State. And we will also bring back on-campus events, which I'm super excited for the athletic programs to have more fans in the stadium, and as well as like musicians coming to campus, comedians, all that fun stuff that all encompasses being at a larger university. We are test optional for fall 2021 students and continuing that actually moving forward to fall 2022. So you can choose to self-report if you took the ACT or SAT. We will use that in the admissions process. Otherwise, if you haven't been able to or choose not to report, that's completely fine, as we'll really focus on your academic record, specifically your GPA, as well as the classes that you took all the way through your 4 years, and determine your admissibility to Iowa State. Our average GPA is a 3.7. Our average ACT is a 25, to kind of give you an idea of our student population. We actually have students come from all 50 states, over 110 countries, and around 44% of our students are actually from out of state. Minnesota is the second largest out of state population, so you'll probably see someone from Minnesota as well on campus. Makes you kind of feel like it's more like home. We are a rolling admission institution, meaning we review applications all the way through your senior year and even about a week before we start classes in the fall. But I would encourage you to get your application in before August. And there is no requirement to live on our campus, but I really recommend your freshman year to build those connections with friends, as well as being close to your classes, recreation services, and dining. One big tip that I would give students that are seniors on this event tonight is when you do fill out your applications, remember to put your AP classes in the high school section. I have seen many times this last year that students have taken AP classes, but they actually put that in the college section of the application, which causes a little bit of delay of hearing back. So just a tip on that. And then in addition, if you choose to potentially take a gap year from high school, we will honor scholarships that you were awarded through a full entire academic year. And that is a little bit about Iowa State University. Again, students, if you have any questions for any members on the event tonight, please feel free to put those in the Q&A, and I will hand it over to Taylor.
Awesome. Quick question for you, Colleen. If there are students who have taken college classes, whether they be dual credit, AP, maybe they are already taking classes at a technical school, what suggestions do you have for them to see if their classes would transfer to a different university?
Yeah, there's a couple resources I would recommend students. I would look at getting an account on Transferology. It's a good resource to see local community colleges and universities and how those would transfer to a different institution. Some institutions like Iowa State have their own like homegrown transfer evaluation system. So check that out. But I would also reach out to your academic advisor and your intended major to see how are the classes that I'm taking at my local college or university or college in the schools looking to transfer at your institution to get a better sense.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then I will go last. Like I said, my name is Taylor and I am from Southwest Minnesota State University. So if you've never heard of us, we are 2.5 hours southwest of Minneapolis and St. Paul, right? Hence the name Southwest Minnesota State. We are also a 4-year liberal arts institution located in Marshall, Minnesota. So we are going to be more of a rural school. Marshall itself is about 15,000 residents. And then at our university, we have about 2,400 students that live on campus and that go to classes every single day. So 2,400 students that you would be living with and learning with and meeting as a part of your day-to-day activities. So if you are looking at a Minnesota State school, we are going to be the smallest of the Minnesota State schools. And along with that comes all of the perks of coming to a smaller school, right? Individualized learning, smaller class sizes, all of those types of things. We are a test optional university. We always will be. I know some schools did choose to go test optional this year due to COVID, but even this year, 2 years ago, moving forward, we will always be a test optional school. So you do not have to submit your ACT or SAT scores. If you would like to, that's great. They will only help you. An ACT score will never hurt you. Additionally, you do not need an ACT score to get scholarships. We can give and award scholarships based off of high school GPA as well. We do have an automatic scholarship system, which means that you are guaranteed a scholarship if you do come in with a 3.0 GPA. We also do use weighted GPAs. So if you have taken those AP, college classes, technical school credits, typically in most schools, those will bump your GPA and we will award scholarships based off of your weighted GPA. So that's really, really awesome for our students. I did put some deadlines over here as well. As you can see, we are also enrolling admissions. So we will look at applications all the way through summer. So if you're on this call and you're like, I have not applied to a single school yet, that is okay. Every single one of our panelists have said, it is not too late. We have applications open through August or to the summer. So just be kind of looking at those deadlines. It's March, but that still gives you plenty of time to apply, get that housing in, and complete that financial aid and apply for scholarships too. So you are not behind. There's still plenty of time to make that decision. If you would like to apply to SMSU, you can apply on our website. If you use the promo code GO SMSU, all one word, it will waive that $20 for you. All of our scholarships have different and varying deadlines, but most of them are this summer. In terms of COVID for next year, we did get the go ahead this week that we are going to have roommates again next year. So this year, every single person did have their own room just due to social distancing regulations. But we have been given the go ahead. We will have roommates next year. Our classes will be in person. Our athletics and our clubs are all opening back up. Again, another advantage to coming to more of a rural location, right, is our availability to stay distanced and stay safe. So we have been fully open since the beginning of the school year, and we continue to look forward to that coming into next fall as well. One of my application tips, right, or one of my admission tips is if you're thinking about a school, apply. A lot of times students will think that applying to a school means that you're going to go to that school, and that is just not the case. Applying to a school just merely says, I'm interested in it. By applying, it can actually get you more information about financial aid, about housing, about scholarships, and it really just keeps you in the loop with what is happening. If at any point you decide, right, you've applied to 5 schools and you decide, I'm not going to go there, I've made my decision, just let those other schools know. If that would be the case for SMSU, it's no harm, no foul, right? You don't have a fee associated with that or anything like that. So if you're thinking about a school, I would suggest applying just to get that extra information that you might not have gotten had you just been in inquiry. Awesome. All right, I can throw it over to the panel. If you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat. Any of my other panelists, have there been any questions? I haven't looked. We're good?
There was one question about liberal arts and I answered it privately, but if anybody else is wondering, I'm happy to just answer that right now as you gather your questions in the chat. So a couple of us are liberal arts institutions, which means that you just apply to the college in general. So other larger colleges might have a college of science, a college of humanities, etc. At Luther and other liberal arts colleges, you just apply to the institution and you aren't locked into a specific major or a specific field. So you have the ability to double major, to have a major and a minor. You'll also have a number of prerequisite courses that you'll take. So you'll get to dabble in a bunch of different subjects and explore. You'll also develop, there's a big focus on writing skills, public address, public speaking, interpersonal communication, especially at Luther. That's a big emphasis on our education. And then you'll of course have that major and minor. So you'll have a large breadth of knowledge that you'll encounter, but then you'll still get that deep learning and understanding of the major.
Awesome. Any other questions that we can answer for the panel? Or was there anything else from my panelists that you guys would like to add before we close out today?
I guess I would just say, I'm assuming that many of you are senior, most of you are probably seniors, all of you are probably seniors tonight. I take that back. And there's probably some idea or emotion or even anxiety attached to the idea of searching for college. And it may have been affected by COVID, it may have been affected by a number of different things. I just want you to know that you're not alone. Even in a year where we don't have, COVID happening, we have students that apply later to college. So just know that this is totally okay. We're here to work with you and not just us exclusively. I know lots of schools are going to be very accommodating. So I'm glad that you're all here this evening, and just continue to march forward and take steps towards what you think is next for you.
Okay. Doesn't look like there's any other questions. I think from our perspective, we wish everybody good luck in your college search. And if anything, reach out to those schools and talk to those guidance counselors, admission counselors, because that is what we're here for. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you so much to panelists. I'm going to share a little closing screen here. Thank you so much to the panelists. Thank you for everyone for joining us. When you close this window, just a note, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, this is just one of many sessions that's being hosted, so please be sure to sign up for additional sessions at mn-acac.org. And in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recording as well as all of the other sessions recording at that same web address, mn-acac.org. Thank you everyone so much and have a great night.